You're watching The Ready Writer, a show where I get to speak to writers of all different genres, mediums, and experiences. The Ready Writer. Are you ready? Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Ready Writer. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's guest writer is Julie Sursok. Let's get into this interview. So, my first question for you is, what point did you realize you needed to write a book?
Well, we were in business for, many years, sort of entrepreneurs, different businesses we had. And at the age of over 60, we stopped working in business. And I looked around at all the seniors, and they were all feeling, just by talking to people had lost their purpose. It was as if they just didn't feel like they were connecting anymore, and they didn't have a life anymore. And I felt, this is something that can change. We can actually really be inspired as we get older. And how do I get to people to show them, you can do anything. You don't have to go and play bridge and golf and garden. I mean, I wrote a short film and I directed it. I executive produced another one. I wrote a song. And I felt, I want to get up on stage in front of thousands of people and say, hey, guys, we can do it still. Our life hasn't ended because we've retired. I just want to be inspirational. And I thought the words were just there. I just knew there was so much that I wanted to say, and so much that I could do that would connect with others. And so I started writing a book, and I knew absolutely nothing about writing books. So there you go.
So let's talk about your book. It's called I'm Now Called a Senior, WTF.
That's
Hopefully
right.
people know what that means by now. If not, they have to look it up. Talk about the book and what's in it, and a brief summary of the book.
It covers all different subjects. First of all, it's relatable subjects like medical checks and downsizing and travel as a senior and all those type of things that seniors are doing now. But then it's funny situations like, does your partner snore? Do you sleep in separate rooms now? And things like, so there's a funny aspect, but there's a thought-provoking aspect. And then there's also, what's the future? Where are we? Eternity, death, all those deep subjects as well. So it's like it's a mixture of all different, it's sort of a commentary because it's a bit of what I've experienced, but it's also a commentary on what I feel about certain situations, and seeing if other people relate as well to that. And I really enjoyed writing it. I really did.
What have you learned about this part of your life that's different from your 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s? What would you say this part of your life has taught you um, that's different from your previous years?
I think when you were younger, you're so involved in the to-do list
Yeah.
of everything that has to be done. You have children, you're running around, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air, not only you're working, but you've got to come home and feed everybody. And there's this pressure, and I see it in young families, they're just how they're coping, and especially as they're now homeschooling. Um, and so you don't actually have, in a way, that sort of that peace where you can just sit for a while and think and have some clarity and really go back to, my background was also in the entertainment industry. I used to sing and record, but I sort of gave away part of me to keep my family secure. And I sort of feel now that everyone's found their own feet, that I've got time to breathe now, and I'm clear about what I want to do. Can I be creative? Of course I can. Am I fearful of failure? Of course we all are, but when you get older, you're not as fearful. It doesn't matter. You just give it a go. And I think where then everything was dependent on supporting my family, and of course it still is. Now I've got a little bit of space where I can think about what makes my heart flutter, what makes me tick. That's sort of where I'm at the moment.
So in the beginning, you said you had no clue of what to do as far as writing. So can you bring us just a brief journey of your publishing journey? How did you even begin to start? Because I know that's the number one thing people say is, how do I start? So can you
Oh,
share
I
your journey
know.
with us?
Of course. Okay. I started knowing absolutely nothing about nothing. And also, seniors are a little bit more tech challenged as well. So it's a bigger learning curve, I believe, to even just writing a book. And I think what happens initially is that there are a lot of, you can go and say, how do I write a book? How do I publish a book? And you go online and there are thousands of people with suggestions and courses, and you do this and you do that. And the minute you click on that, you seem to get all these emails from thousands of different people, and you can't even get through them and you get confused. So what my decision was, I'm going to research this, and then I'm going to find somebody. I didn't want to go with a publisher. I'm too much of a control freak. I didn't want my voice to be changed because there's a bit of spunkiness in it, and I didn't want that to change. I know what cover I want because I'm creative and I love creatives. I wanted the cover to be the cover I wanted. And I really, really put my head down and I learned. So what I did is I researched different self-publishing options. And I latched onto a self-publishing school that had an amazing course. It's the self-publishing school, it's called, situated in the US. So of course we had a bit of a time difference, and I was sometimes doing lectures very early in the morning, but I followed that course step by, I cut out all the other noise because of course everyone else was coming with, oh, you've got to do this and you've got to do this. And I said, no, following one line of action, and I'm going to do it properly. And you know, the funny thing is you think you've finished one section. Oh, I've written a book. Oh yeah, well now you know what, you have to edit it. Oh, I've got to edit it. Okay. But I didn't edit it myself. I researched editors. I sent it to a professional editor, because if you have a well-edited book and you have a very attractive cover that will attract your avatar, your results are going to just be so much more spectacular. So I did that. I finished the book, then I edited, and then, oh, I've got to try and set up a landing page or a website. So I learned that section. Then what's an ISBN? I had no idea what an ISBN was, but I researched that. And so by following the course, I got to the end and I got it up on Amazon, and we've got it into all the bookstores. And it was just a slow step-by-step process, but not getting confused by all the noise that was going on. I think that was the biggest tip that I got from that.
Okay, so your last two questions. First, can you give us some advice to the senior citizen who believes it's over, even though it's not? What they, some advice on how they can restart their life at this stage in their life?
I think what happens is that people say, oh, you know, you're a senior, you now need to go and find your purpose. Well, how do you even start to look for your purpose? I mean, where purpose? What is purpose? Where do you find that? And I think you've just got to maybe look at the magic. What were you curious about maybe when you were younger that might now evolve again now? Or what is a passion that you wanted to try but you were fearful of trying, and give it a go? And my thoughts have always been, don't try and get to the top of the ladder straight away. Just one step at a time. Do it, give it a go, and you might find you absolutely love it. I mean, who would have thought I'd write a short film and then direct it? I had to go online to work out how do you direct a movie and get all the equipment in and learn and pull in people who knew something. And you find that there's something that really will make you, I sat down last night and I was writing and I felt, wow, I love this. I just love this. Now, who would have thought that a year ago? And that's the same with now. Be curious, be a senior, but be curious. Don't settle into, I mean, some people want to settle down and settle back. And that's, of course, their choice. But we're still relevant, and we don't want to lose our relevancy as we get older, So that's my thing. One step at a time. Find what makes your heart tizzle.
Okay, and some advice for those who are not seniors yet, things that they should be doing now and what they can look forward to when they get older.
I think, one's got to realize that we all think we're going to have a long life. So I think it's okay if you're in this stressful situation that you're in when you're younger. That's okay, because everybody's sort of like running around in that. But there is a future when you get older, and one needs to have just the peace and the expectation that it's not the end. One doesn't need to get depressed. One doesn't need to fall apart when you get older. Loneliness is a terrible thing. Make really good friends and keep those friends and honor those friends, and give back too. You know, if you give back, you always find that there's so much love that comes back to you. It's just a karma thing, I suppose. You know, it's that type of thing. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. I want to thank our guest, Julie Sursok, for sharing her time and her journey with us. And I also want to thank you, the audience, for watching. Please subscribe. Have yourself a great day.